So Jake Paul beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now this fight was, it was very underwhelming. I thought Chavez Jr. would do a lot better because he's a former world champion and he's got like what 60 plus fights. But bro, literally did not throw punches until about round 8. The first 7 rounds he was doing like jack shit. It was so weird and confusing. I expected him to put up a much better fight. I expected him to at least like win like a couple rounds and Jake win on decision, which he did win on decision. But like still, I expected more from Chavez to at least just try. But man, this guy's such a failure, man. He's such an idiot. I don't know why I put so much faith in him. He's so useless. He's so pathetic. He just doesn't put in the work. I was fooled by his training videos. I saw him training like on the heavy bag, and he was looking really sweaty and looking like he was really taking it seriously. But no, he wasn't taking it seriously. Clearly, the way he was fighting, he just wasn't doing anything. It was only the last. It was only the. Oh my god! It was only the last like 3 rounds, like round 8 to round 10, where he actually started to like put some effort in and actually started to like pressure Jake. And he was actually doing well in those rounds. And it's like, why didn't you do this at the start? Why didn't you do this in like round 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? Just in the earlier rounds. You only decided to do it in like the later rounds. Why? Because at that point, Jake was already like outlanded him. Like Jake at that point already beat him on every single round and outlanded him like for like 7-8 rounds. Like it's weird. Like you should have done that from the very beginning instead of doing it the last 2 rounds. It's a waste of time. Because Jake looked really gassed in that 10th round. I think Jake Paul could have been knocked out in that 10th round because he looked really gassed. He wasn't defending himself. He was wide open for shots and he had his hands down. And Chavez was actually capitalizing a little bit on it, but he just wasn't doing it enough. He was still like very cautious and very hesitant to like let his hands go. But he was letting his hands go quite a lot. Like I think that's probably the first opponent of Jake Paul who's actually really put on him, even though it was only for 2 rounds. But still, because I didn't see Mike Perry do that. Mike Perry was getting his ass beat pillar to post. He didn't even have a moment in that fight against Jake Paul. It was a 6-round fight, or it was an 8-round fight, but it lasted 6 rounds. He did have one moment, whereas at least Chavez had moments in the set in the 9th and 10th. Andre August definitely didn't have moments because that fight lasted like 2 seconds. Same with Ryan Borland. Nate Diaz. Okay, that fight was actually that fight actually had a lot of moments, but like still, I'll probably say that was his first fight since the Nate Diaz fight where he actually had like an opponent who was actually like pressing him more compared to like Mike Perry, who wasn't able to do anything. And even on Mike Tyson as well. And obviously Ryan Borland and Andre August weren't able to do anything because they got knocked out in the first 2 minutes. So it's like, yeah. But very underwhelming fight. I expected more from Chavez, at least to just try and win, but he just did not try and win. He only tried to win in like the last 2-3 rounds. It was embarrassing. Jake Paul outlanded him, outboxed him. Surprisingly, he's the YouTuber. He outboxed the guy who's meant to be the former world champion, right? Been in the ring with guys like Canelo, and he was getting outboxed and getting his head boxed off by a guy who started boxing like what 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when he's been boxing his whole entire life. It's embarrassing on Chavez's end. I know he's 39. I know he's washed up, but like still, like you should at least try. Like, come on, you can't be letting some guy, an influencer, a YouTube novice, outbox you like this. You shouldn't be letting someone like that just outbox you like that. It's just embarrassing. Like I expected him to at least try, and even if he did lose, and he was a very close fight, and he at least put his all into it, I'd be like, you know what, fair play. But it's still embarrassing loss for a YouTuber though. But still, like at least you actually tried this time. You didn't just quit like he did against Daniel Jacobs, or you didn't just like do nothing. Like at least he actually tried, but he just didn't do enough in this fight, and it was very very underwhelming. And you already know guys like fucking Cloyster, that fucking idiot, is gonna be talking shit saying, well, Jake Paul show pick this guy. How was Jake Paul supposed to know that this guy was not gonna throw any punches? Like honestly, I don't get why Jake Paul gets all this hateful. But or he cherry picks his opponents. How is he cherry picking? He doesn't know how his opponents are gonna fight on fight night. He doesn't. He just picks them because he expects a challenge. He expects them to actually put in the work and take him seriously. With Mike Perry, it was expected for him to take it seriously and actually train, which I'm sure he did. But like, you know, Jake was just better on the night. Jake was just a better boxer. But with Ryan Borland, he was expected to train and put the effort in, and he clearly didn't because he looked out of shape and he looked fat. He just, yeah. And obviously Mike Tyson, I'm sure he took it seriously, but like, you know what I mean? Like Chavez was expected to like try at least. I expected him to try and win, not just like not do anything. It was embarrassing. But fair play to Jake Paul. But I don't get the hate. Like Cloyster, he made a video talk about the fight, and it just pissed me off. Like I don't want to make this whole video about Cloyster, but like he did say like about the like Jake Paul and like he cherry picked this guy, and I can't remember what he said. I can't remember, but it was about like the world ranking or something like that. Like I can't remember, but he get his head boxed up by Tommy Fury. Like, come on, like Tommy Fury is shit. I think Jake Paul beats him. Honestly, I really do think he does. I think he beats him easy because Tommy Fury looked terrible in his last fight against that whoever he fought, that bomb he fought in Budapest. And then obviously KSI, he looked terrible in that fight as well. And he's only had 2 fights since the Jake Paul fight in 2023. It's 2025 now. He's only had 2 fights in that 2 year period. But compared to Jake's had like what, 6? Because he had Nate Diaz, Andre August, Ryan Borland, Mike Perry, Mike Tyson, and obviously Chavez. So that's like what? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 fights since his fight with Tommy, and he's improved in every single one of his fights. Every single one of those fights, he improved in every fight. He progressed in every fight. Obviously, his opponents obviously won all that, but he showed some skill improvement in every single one of his fights since the Tommy fight. So I don't get the criticism. I don't get the hate. I think Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury, but like yeah, and also Cloyster, that fucking idiot. I might put him in the title just to get some views because I don't really get views anymore these days. I don't know why. I just don't get views. I know for a fact if I put Cloyster's name in the title, I might get views because he's a pretty big boxing commentator, so I might get views if I put his name in the title. So I'm gonna put his name in the title just to get those views. And hopefully he might see this video so he can see me absolutely destroying him and ranting and just insulting him because he deserves to get insulted because he's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. I hate him. I can't stand his content. He's annoying. But what else did he say? He said something about like, I can't remember what he said, man. But he just said like, I don't know, man, about Jake not improving. That I don't agree with that at all. I think this was honestly Jake Paul's best performance. I honestly thought this was Jake Paul's best performance since. No, I think this was his best performance. I thought he looked good. He was throwing his jab. He was heavy on those body shots. He was really going to the body a lot, and he was just looking like a boxer, like not a skilled world level boxer, but he looked like a decent novice boxer, like a decent boxer who started 7 years ago, and he looks all right. I think this version of Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury. I think Tommy Fury looks terrible in his last fight against that fucking bomb he fought in Budapest, and also against KSI. Tommy's clearly not improved because because Tommy doesn't take boxing seriously. Like Tommy is he does not take boxing seriously because if he did, he'd be actively fighting every year. Like he'd be actively fighting and being consistent, but he's only had like what 2 fights since his fight with Jake Paul in the span of 2 years. Jake Paul's had 6 fights in that 2 year span, and that fight was in 2023. That was like 2 years ago, yeah. In 2 years, Jake's already had 6 fights. Tommy's had what, 2, and one of them was against KSI, a guy who can't box, and the other was against some random bum journeyman who had no business being in the ring, and he just beat him up and just won a boring decision. He didn't do anything crazy. He didn't even hurt the guy. Like, it was embarrassing. But yeah, I'm getting off topic a bit. But this video is about like the fight, like analyzing the fight with Jake Paul and Chavez Jr. But Chavez Jr. honestly should retire because he's blew his chances so many times. He's always had the opportunity to work hard and train and redeem himself, but he never really takes boxing seriously. He never takes boxing seriously, and he always ends up failing. It's just like, yeah, he should honestly just retire. At this point, he should just retire. Don't box again, because if you're losing to the likes of Jake Paul, it's embarrassing. Like, you can't be losing to Jake Paul and expect to still be a good in the sport. Like, you're gonna get, like, it's just, yeah, just retire. But yeah. Anyways, guys, we're gonna end here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Peace out. Bye.